Hello, this is Yehna.
And this is Jessie.
We are excited to be back with another episode. We wrestled through many different questions, but today we wanted to invite you and share about our I can't talk. Our very first TCK retreat. So welcome
Yay.
and join us at
At the
the
table.
table. Oh my goodness, I got too excited. I started fumbling my words. What the heck?
Well, this definitely has been a long awaited episode. I mean, it's been almost a month since the whole TCK retreat happened. And I'm
Which is
sure a lot of
crazy.
you are like, so you guys were overly advertising this, and then we don't hear about anything about it for a month. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But we are finally, I was gonna say things are settling down, but that's not really true.
That's not true.
Things are still crazy, but we're like, you know what? We better do this now, or else it's going to be way too late to do it.
Yeah,
So we just thought we'd, share our experience running our first conference ever, but
so
also just
true.
being able to be a part of it and receive so much from it too. Excited to officially share with you because I don't think we've really had like a dedicated
No.
time to share about how we felt about the retreat and our takeaways. But Yana, start us off.
Yeah.
There's so much we could say, but overall, how was your experience being a part of it, but also running it?
Yes. Yes. As we were kind of slightly thinking through how we wanted to organize this podcast and what we wanted to share, because of as we entered into the space, we knew it was gonna be a heavy one, but I think we didn't understand the magnitude of how sacred this space was going to be. And not just for the attendees, but really for us as well. And so entering into it, I truly didn't know what to expect. It was like neither a good or bad thing. It was just like, first of all, I've never been to a TCK retreat myself ever growing up. So to then be a part of one, although I was co-leading it with everybody, but I was also experiencing as a semi-attendee too. And so with that in mind, we were going through the workshop and really learning about the TCK experience as a whole, and also then walking through what is the grief that pertains to being a TCK. Oh my goodness, I was just so blown away by how much we all tend to minimize our experience. And because a lot of the stories we heard, yes, are different, but then there are so many similarities in that we were all kind of shocked how we were kind of walking it together in our own respective semi isolated sections of our world, you know? So more than anything, I was just so grateful and also just felt so privileged to be able to be a part of sharing my story, but also listening to everybody's story. We all took away from this was that we were truly not alone in this experience. And that was so crazy to me because Jesse and I had been talking about this, and it was so funny because Jesse reminded me that we had created a 5-year plan of hopefully getting here. And here we were, less than 2 years into talking about it, doing this. So to be able to start from our little kitchen in Jesse's first apartment to then being able to share a space with 12 other people was, anyway, I could go on and on, but it was just so good, is all I'll have to say. And I know I found like I'm promoting retreat, but it truly was just so good for me. And partially why it took us so long to come to record this episode because, whew, after we were done, we didn't know how much our body was gonna give out from sharing.
Oh my gosh, I remember that following Monday. everyone kind of was lingering around, still in the area, hanging out, and I was not allocating my energy. I had not calculated how much energy I needed to still have for the
Yes.
following days, and I just could not show up. So I know what you mean of so much was poured out, um, and mental energy was spent that it's a good thing
It was
though.
a good
Like it was
thing.
a good,
Yes.
yeah.
It was a learning experience coming, not to go too much into detail, but like coming from a person who will have to facilitate this, hopefully in the future. Now we know the amount of rest we may want to dedicate within a retreat. And so, yes, that was quite a humble. I'm already a low energy person. So to be in a position where I truly couldn't muster up any more energy, it has humbled me.
Mm. I think from what you shared, what stood out to me was that when you said, "Oh my gosh, I realized I wasn't alone. I wasn't the only person carrying all these questions as I've navigated adulting and tried to figure out how much do I blend in or like all the TCK questions that we think about that, is in the back of our head, but not in the forefront enough to really like unpack it in therapy or like whatnot. But when people bring it up, you're like, oh yeah, like thought about that too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel crazy. I used to feel crazy for thinking
Yeah.
that way or for even overthinking some things that I felt like, oh, it shouldn't be a big deal. But I'm sure from what, yeah, you were sharing, we felt very validated. What was so powerful is that when you're in a position to, or when you're a part of a team to serve, a lot of the times you know deep down that you are going to receive so much more at the end of it. And that was exactly the case for me. And I can tell for the team as well. Just not knowing how this will turn out, no expectations. We're starting from scratch. We don't even know if this is something people need or would appreciate, but the fact that we got there and just received so much blessing from people's stories, people's encouragement, people's listening ear and willingness to pray. How powerful is that? And for people to spend their own time and resources to fly out, show up, and be willing to be vulnerable, to be open to hearing different perspectives and to be challenged on the ways that they're living their life or thinking their own thinkings. That was huge.
Yeah.
And something I'll definitely, I think it, sorry, did go on a tangent, but it just double confirmed, wow, this is a need. And even if people don't think it is a need for them in their own lives, it actually is. And
So true.
why not? Why not
Yeah.
show up and connect with other people from all around the world? Why not, share your story? I don't know.
You saying that just reminds me how much in my own journey of getting to this place, I felt such, I don't know, in some sense, like a fake person to share my quote unquote troubles and think, who do I think I am that I have some sort of troubles? I'm like freshly out of college, the most privileged situation I can ever be, got a job, troubled. Come on, get with the program, Yana Kim. And the things that I thought were just so I should get over myself. The
Mm,
experiences that in some sense, yes, I understand that it might not be everyone's experience, but it doesn't make it a hard experience, you know what I mean? But I
mhm.
at the same time when someone else were to share something and they share the impacts they had, it caused me to pause and realize, how many more people out there are feeling the same way I am, where they truly believe their story is not worth being listened to, and how many more are out there where they have been impacted in a way that is, to be very transparent, causing more detriment to their growth as to be an adult, a functioning human in this society. And but then they're stuck in a corner where they feel so isolated and lost. And so just, yeah, hearing you share that, Jessie, I'm realizing more and more how much we need to encourage one another to say, hey, we're here. And we want you to know this place, at least if not anywhere else, this place is a place you can share, and a place where we will be your biggest cheerleader in growing. And that might require some real like face to face moments with your pain, but we will be there to walk beside you, because that's quite literally what Jessie and I did together. I'm just so, I know this sounds cliche, but God's faithfulness has been so evident in the ways we've come to through this journey. So I'm just so grateful for the community or the friendships I built through this experience. And I can't help but want that for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a dream come true to build more of God's kingdom of people that we know they understand and they'll be there for you. And I like how you said we have people that can encourage us. And it's not like, after this 3-day retreat, like we're all besties, but for some reason, the Holy Spirit opened up a space where we could be so vulnerable. And it's so weird because it's like, I mean, it is the typical MK,
Yes.
you can open up very fast without having to, I don't know, but it felt different in that like people weren't just sharing like the surface level stuff that's quote unquote deep. Like people were very raw,
Yeah.
even though we didn't have that whole multiple year depth of friendship. And the thing is like that's something that will continue from now.
Yeah.
And that's what's also encouraging is we've also made friends that we know will be down to pray for us and encourage us. So um, overall, just yeah, reminded of how blessed we were through that experience and hopeful for the future.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of future, I really hope that through this, I know it's not just like a promotional episode at all, but just prayers that this would not end here. And even if it doesn't continue with us, to know that other people will be out there to say, I'm realizing this, my story needs to be shared so that others feel the need, like feel also safe enough to share theirs. Because really, more than anything, if you aren't seen by anyone beside you, I know this is too much, but really the Lord sees you, and He sees your heart, and He sees your needs, and He sees what you've gone through and what you are going through. And so my prayers is that the next retreat, even I'm not saying more than the number of people that will come, more than anything, that people will slowly understand the need for more spaces where TCKs can come and grow and hopefully grow a relationship with the Lord.
Mm.
Yeah. So it has been overwhelmingly so good. Those are the only words that come out of my mouth when it comes to this retreat, truly, because I didn't come with much expectation, a lot of pressure on myself, because that's typical
Yeah.
Yena Kim. But other than that, I was truly humbled by the Lord, because it was again that phrase of Yena, get out of my way, because I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and He really did.
Yeah, I know. Some people are like, how, I don't know, how did you just make this all happen? Like what did you do? Like who connected you with? And honestly, this was just all God's provision.
Yeah.
And He knew exactly what He was doing from the moment we even became close friends. Like
Yeah.
He's like, you have no idea what I have in store for your friendship and what that will do, because I would not be able to be a part of this if it weren't for Yenna and the team, like vice. So
Just
it was all
everyone's
God.
gifting. Yeah. It
Mhm.
was so crazy. Whew. I could go on. It's too much. It's been so good, and I really hope and pray the next one that we do plan, and as we learn to advertise properly and to connect with people properly, that you guys would be, the Lord would stir in all of your hearts who are TCKs out there, have a yearning to be a part of this conversation, because it is just so good, and so it's like a breakthrough moment for real. Anyway, I will end it here and let you guys digest all of that. But thank you all for praying for us as we had done this retreat and for supporting us in your respective places. I know I've received a couple texts here and there from friends saying that they're praying for me and the team, and it's been answered more and beyond than we could have ever imagined. So thank you so much. Yes, from this episode forward, we will get right on program with our silly little rants and discussions. So thank you for sticking around. Anyway, all our episodes are on Spotify and on YouTube, and our updates are, of course, on Instagram. And thank you for listening, and can't wait to share more on our next episode. Until then, bye.
Bye.